Hello, welcome to this game review. We'll have a look at a game from the Caro-Kann, a pretty kind of short game, which ended up being played a bit too ambitiously by Black, though it was kind of playable, but Black eventually lost because I think he just made a one-move blunder and gave up two pieces for a rook without any reason, after which White's win was rather simple. So let's take a look. It started as the classical Caro-Kann variation, bishop f5, bishop to g6. The development is quite standard here, e6, castle knight bd7, c3, queen c7, which is fine, other moves work as well, and queen c7, rook e1, bishop d6, so black has no problems here. Usually white castles queenside to try to checkmate the opponent in these positions, but at this point black has no bad pieces. White has the bad knight on g3, and black has nothing to worry about. In general, he should just castle and play c5 to change the structure and then go from there. Bishop b3, and yeah, black here played h5, which is a bit too ambitious, and it's hard to understand what exactly black is planning after knight h4, because now his attack is kind of stalled. Instead, again, black has nothing to prove. He should just castle kingside, and black is the one fighting for an advantage because white has a bad knight on g3, and c5 will come on the next move. White cannot stop this, and there's absolutely no problem for black. But black played a bit too ambitiously, h5, so this kind of makes sense against a knight on g3 to play h4, but after knight h4 the attack is just stopped. Bishop g5 is also a potential issue. It's not clear what black is trying to do here. This bishop on g6 is not helping black attack, and black has basically no attack, and he cannot really castle kingside anymore. Now he will have to go probably for queenside castles and some dynamic play, which is not necessarily in his interest here. Knight h4, queen f3, white develops, black castles queenside. So this is quite playable, this is fine. Rook f8, but this move is a bit hard to understand. Black's plan here should be to play g5 somehow. It's not clear how, but we can start with rook d to g8, and now if this bishop ever moves, we will play the move g5. For example, white can develop, we can move our king, and after white does something like h3, we can eventually play queen a5, which is probably our main idea, as in the game later we had this chance again, attacking this bishop and forcing white to do something. White can't move the bishop because of g5, so queen e3 is the only move. Now we can play knight d5, and then an eventual f6 g5 will start our attack finally, and black should be kind of fine. And okay, rook d f8, h3, and here black plays a very strange decision to just give up his bishop for this terrible knight on g3, which wasn't doing anything, after which only white can be better. White took back, and now black played this very strange move, knight e4. Oh, and again, at this point black had the chance to play queen a5, the point being to disturb this bishop on g5 so that black can continue his attack with g5. Again, the only move here is queen e3, and we can move our knight from f6 to play f6 and g5, and black can hope for some kind of attack here. But in the game, as mentioned, black gave up his best piece basically. Now he has no presence on the dark squares, and after knight e4 this is very hard to understand. This just gives up the knight and the bishop for two rooks, which is basically always a bad exchange, and the only way to compensate would be to at least get a pawn or two, but here white would just be completely winning. White played bishop f4, which allowed black to at least fight on with e5 and g5, not giving time to take the knight, but black did just move the queen, after which white is basically winning, though after bishop d6 then black should at least take this knight and then play this position where he will be a pawn down with a bad position with his pieces, but at least it's kind of a fight. After this the knight can move, and white has two bishops for a rook. Both rooks are terrible, and black further weakens his position, after which white's win becomes quite simple from here. He has a weakness here, weaknesses on the queen side, black has no attack, so from here the rest of the game wasn't entirely interesting. But in general, we should try to solve our problems as simply as possible, whenever possible, and moves like h5 are basically only good when normal moves don't work. And here black had no reason not to just castle and play c5, which would give him a very solid and decent position where he can try to outplay his opponent slowly.